We're getting closer to crowning CAF Southern Section champions in basketball. I'm Tarek Fattel.
And we have big news on the football front in prep football. I'm Randy Rosenblum, and this is SoCal Prep Report. I can hear the rain right now off the roof. It's very loud here. I can't believe how hard it's raining. There's the Port of LA. You can't see anything. The clouds. What happened to our beautiful Southern California weather? All right, let's get into some sports here with Tarek Fattel, my running mate.
There's a leak.
There is a leak. Speaking of a leak, I every Monday tune into the Fattel Factor to get my inside stuff on prep sports.
Here we go.
And you weren't on Monday night,
Yep.
and I'm not happy about it.
Got a little, you can tell in the raspiness of my voice. I got a little cold and coming on the other side of it. But yeah, Monday night had the holiday. My daughter had pink eye. Like, it was bedlam at the Fattel residence in Chatsworth. We just decided on Monday night, let's take a hiatus. We'll be back the following Monday night, and the world will be just fine.
Turnovers, missed foul shots. I don't want excuses. I don't want any excuses. Okay. You weren't on the air. All right, let's take a look at this prep basketball scene. We'll start with the Open Division. These are still bracket games. This is the end of the brackets. Sierra Canyon was unreal here. 95-65 over Corona Del Mar. Maxie Adams, 25 points and 11 rebounds for the Blazers.
Yeah, I do want to touch on this, and this was the end of pool play, Randy, and I think, look, if there's one, people didn't want to see Corona Del Mar in the Open because they felt that they weren't deserving or they weren't talented enough. And I know that they're going to have their shot in the knockout stage here in a second. Give me a couple moments on this. Here's one thing that Corona Del Mar players, and Coach Jason Simcoe agreed with me, that those boys went on the road to Chatsworth and played 2 McDonald's All-Americans in Sierra Canyon. And I will guarantee you, 30 years from now, when they're all still friends, they will talk about that game because Brandon McCoy is going to go to the NBA, and they're going to remember the night they played Brandon McCoy when he was in high school before the NBA. And I know that's not why the Open Division is created, but those are real high school moments you can never get back. And so Jason Simcoe, the head coach, even agreed, hey, we don't want anyone's sympathy. We wanted the Open Division, and they got it. They got a full dose of it.
Yeah, a 30-point worth of full dose. They lose by 30. We're right. Tarek said it's a great experience. How about Notre Dame, Sherman Oaks? Navarro Bowman's the key guy there.
Yes.
Another big game. In a 69-60 victory, Bowman had 20.
Yeah, Bowman is, for me, big-time player of the year contender. Let's not forget, they had Tyron Stokes, the number 1 player in the country, right, last year. Took him to the Open Final, the Open State Regional Final. They fell short. Roosevelt, Braided Burries was loaded, the whole 9. But this is a team that was ready to be basically the number 1 team in the state with Tyron Stokes. He leaves, and look at Navarro Bowman. Got them in the mix for an Open Division championship still.
Redondo Union, I said it last week, playing as well as anybody in the section. We think they have a chance to win it all.
Oh,
this is a good Centennial squad. They win by a dozen. Chris Sanders, one of those versatile players, 6'4", 6'5 guys for Redondo Union, 22 points, 12 boards.
Yeah, Sanders, kind of like a Zion Williamson 1.0. I don't want to get carried away, but that's the kind of player he is. He's versatile, he's strong, he's athletic, he plays like 4 positions. But actually, this result is the closest game Redondo Union's had in a while. They've been blowing teams out like crazy. So Reggie Morris actually had to coach. Not that he said he couldn't coach in blowouts, but Josh Giles at Corona Centennial, was talking about one of the better high school basketball coaches you have in all of the state of California. So great bout there.
This one surprised me.
Yes.
I think it surprised Tarek as well. Harvard Westlake, we know they're a great program, but Santa Margarita's been another team that was considered a tri-favorite. Maybe it was Sierra Canyon and Redondo Union.
No question.
And Harvard Westlake, Joe Sterling lights them up for 22 points. Harvard Westlake blows them out.
I've said it, and actually I got some text messages because people think I'm crazy. This is David Rabibo's best coaching job, and he is arguably the best high school basketball coach in the state. But this, no Nick Kamenia, no Trent Perry, no Jacob Huggins. I mean, the list goes, no Isaiah Carroll. He's got Joe Sterling and a couple other nice players. And I'm not trying to offend anybody. This team has some holes in it. For them to go on the road into Deep Orange County and beat a Santa Margarita team that's got like 4 bona fide D1 dudes, not fringe guys, dudes, and beat them by 20 on the road, Rabibo's got those guys locked in.
You offended me by not having a show Monday night. Still upset about that. All right, let's move ahead to D1. Crean Lutheran's the top-ranked team there, and they did it to Village Christian, 83-58. Hunter Kaplan, 21 points for the winners.
Yeah, this is a Saints team, that #1 team in the division. Wouldn't be surprised if they get to the final. I know we're going to get to more scores here in a second, but I wouldn't be surprised if we had an all-Orange County Division I final, and Crean Lutheran is one of those teams.
What about Inglewood? They got the star guy. I mean, Jason Crow Jr., another big game. He ends up with 45 in the win over Fairmont Prep. I was looking at some of the lines when they're coming out with the score.
Sure.
The guys covering the game. And at halftime, Crow had 17, and the reporter said he only has 17 points. And I'm thinking, well, what's wrong with 17 points and a half? He does average over 40 a game,
Correct.
and he got his 45.
Yeah, I think he's averaging something between 44 and 47 points a game, something like that. Tremendous score, but I think he's going to run into a team. I believe they play Jay Serra next. I know I'm getting a little ahead of myself. That is a team that's going to know how to key in on a top player. So I wonder if the buck stops in the semifinals. But I tell you what, if Inglewood can go beat Jay Serra, and I think that game's in San Juan Capistrano, that would be a big-time win for Jason Crow. And they get to the D1 final, that'd be pretty cool.
Jay Serra wins over Rolling Hills Prep. That's Harvey Catani's team. Nice win for Jay Serra. Margin is a little greater than we thought.
Yeah, I mean, Harvey Catani is one of the best coaches, of course, and Nick Welch and a couple other nice players. But again, at the end of the day, let's not forget this Jay Serra team finished 3rd in the Trinity League behind St. John Bosco and Santa Margarita, whom are in the open division. So Jay Serra is no slouch. Good guard play, good coach in Keith Wilkinson, been on the show before, good dude. So this is a team that there's nothing they haven't seen. That's what I'm trying to get at. So nothing's going to be surprising to them. For example, Fairmont Prep has never seen anything like Jason Crow Jr., and that's why they lost.
Modern Day drops to D2.
Right.
Now they have 3 straight wins. This is the most impressive one, beating El Dorado on the road. El Dorado had won 27 games coming into this contest. And for Modern Day, they're up to 20 wins. And with the 3 wins in the playoffs, their record is starting to look respectable.
Yeah, I believe, all these semifinalists, Randy, just to remind the viewers, they've all qualified for the state playoffs now. You just have to get to the semifinals in all the divisions, and you've qualified for state. So even if Modern Day loses in the semi, they're going to the state playoffs. They'll have more games to play. You know, everyone has contention about them dropping down to D2. They just really weren't that good. They finished 4th in the Trinity League. I think they had like 12, 13, 14 losses, something like that, 14 losses. So this is an obscure Modern Day team. We're used to seeing them as a blue blood, a juggernaut, and they're just not that. You know, are they rolling through D2? Not because they're that good. I just think, again, they're so used to high-level basketball, and everyone else isn't. I would not be surprised if Modern Day did not win the D2 title. It would not surprise me.
They got a chance, though, and they keep winning. Gary McKnight gets the job done year in and year out there. One of the great coaches in high school basketball in the country. All right, how about Blair? Their season comes to an end. We have a friend there who coached for Blair this year. By the way, Trabuco Hills and Blair went 3 overtimes in this game. Derek Taylor is the coach at Blair. We know him very well from his days at Taft and St. John Bosco. Does a great job. Blair wins over 20 games his first year there.
Yeah, you know, let's not forget Blair. I think they lost their best player. I'm drawing a blank on his name, but it might have been Timmy Anderson, something like that. He leaves. So Derek Taylor comes in. And let's not forget, Blair is in Pasadena, you know, impacted by the fires and things of that nature. So he comes into a program that really needed a pick-me-up. And so in his first year, for him to get to the quarterfinals of Division IV is pretty impressive.
In D4, let's talk about Shall Have It. This is quite a story. A couple of games ago, they won in overtime, coming from 10 down in the final 3 minutes. Then they play Palm Springs. They win on a Sam Jacobson shot at the buzzer. And now they play Jordan of Long Beach, and they win on another buzzer beater by Sam's brother, Ben.
Yeah, I think we have footage of it. I wonder, here it is. Everyone's kind of yelling because they think that this is a travel right here. Let's see. I'm not really seeing it, but look, hey, miss a box out, don't stay locked in, and you lose a game. So those are the things that grow gray hair on a coach, where it's like if someone just puts a body on Ben Jacobson, he doesn't get a rebound. He at least doesn't get a clean look at this thing. Everyone's watching. No one's putting a body on. Look at Zero, just all by himself. There it is, bucket.
Beautiful. It's beautiful.
So now Shall Have It and Coach Tim Tucker, they're going to the semifinals, and though Tim is not exactly Mr. Charisma, And I think he would not, he's not jump up and down, but I know he's happy.
He's also a heck of a coach, and he loves his players. They're going to play Colony Saturday night at home at Chalhevet High School. All right, LA City Section Open semifinals. They commence this weekend. You can see San Pedro and Palisades at LA Southwest College. Palisades is considered the thoroughbred here, the big-time favorite. For San Pedro, first ever Open, and they're into the semis.
Yeah, I don't expect this game to be close, and I think Palisades is going to do what everyone thought, get to the Open Division Championship, and it'll likely be against Cleveland, and we'll see how it goes.
The other matchup is Fairfax and Cleveland. Of course, Fairfax knocked off Birmingham to get there.
Which
That
is just
surprised some
stunning
people.
to me, yes.
You're
Just
still upset about that.
Yeah,
despicable?
I saw Fairfax play, and I was just stunned. I think Jamal Hartwell's probably just wondering how his team's in the semifinals, but there they are.
Let's drop down into D2 in the city, only because one of our good buddies is still around. That's Silmar and head coach Borda Skoda. Now, they've won a lot of games in a row, 10 straight. Robert Wynn had 19 points for Silmar in their latest victory. Now they get Marquez. Marquez has the football player, Elijah Staples, who might have been the best football player in the city, leading their basketball team. But for us to see Bort take this team deep into the playoffs, he's won some city titles at Silmar.
Yeah, it's funny. If you ever go to a Silmar game and you watch Bort coach, he does this.
How's that possible?
Best impression of Borda Skoda.
He picks up more technicals than anyone.
Oh, when he gets fired up, that's true. That's true. But there's a lot of he's a funny coach to watch. No, but I mean he's been doing it a long time. Let's not forget, Silmar was rolling in high-end basketball club back in the day, early 2000s, and so not surprising to see his teams deep again. Marquez, Elijah Staples. Let's not forget. I believe he was in a lower-level football final. They lost to
Southgate?
Southgate, yes, in the final moment.
Hail Mary.
The Hail Mary. So Elijah Staples, man, he's looking for a city championship in some sport. Let's hope maybe he can get one.
Well, Bort's in his 33rd year at Silmar, still getting it done. All right, another situation in the LA City section. Tarek's going to break it down for us. Another kind of basket brawl. Wasn't really a brawl, but there was some fisticuffs, and we'll let Tarek take it from here.
Hi everybody, Tarek Fattel here. Yes, you saw a high school basketball player trying to throw punches at a basketball official. Let's get into it. We're going to highlight number 0 here on Dorsey High School. Dorsey is hosting Downtown Magnets in a city playoff game. That foul there that we saw at the beginning of the video, his 4th foul. With 4 to go, Dorsey's up 2 points. Coach is taking this player out, probably to protect him for a few minutes, likely to put him back in the game. 0 is a starter. On the way to the bench, he clearly says something. He gets a technical foul. The opposing team clapping it up on the tech. Free throws come. So that there's a little bit of a separation here. We see our player on the bench. He does not come back into the game. These free throws get taken, and we're going to skip forward. About 10 seconds left to go. Now Dorsey is losing. Downtown Magnets goes on to win this game 59-54, and I'm circling our player in the back. Now he's off the bench, taking his jersey off behind the bench. Here's a closer look. There he is right there, taking his shirt off kind of center of the screen. That's important. Here's why. Clocks hit 0. Game is over. Downtown Magnets is celebrating. Young man with now no jersey on comes and confronts the official, bumps into him, talks to him intently. Look at this. The official just falls to the ground. Very, very odd. The player continues to talk to him while he's on the ground. Now, we got the scoreboard bug there on NFHS. Nothing we can do about that, so we're watching as best we can. But here's what happens. The player's now being held back by teammates. He gets free and starts throwing punches at the official. I do know that this player is a senior, so this was his last high school game. Here's a different angle of it. Breaking free, throwing punches at the official. Really, really tough scene here. Not sure I've seen any players go at official. Look at the official getting fired up. Kind of wants to go back at the player. Odd in itself. Again, weird that he fell to the ground, almost like looking for a lawsuit. It seems, right? He goes down after almost no touching, really, in that first confrontation. Then, of course, he dodges some punches. Later, the official getting into it with, with a couple ladies, maybe a teen parent, a mom, an auntie of some sort, maybe a grandmother. but definitely not a great scene at Dorsey High School. Again, Downtown Magnets goes on to win 59-54. Odd scene here in Los Angeles. Not often or at all do you ever see a player go after an official like this. Unfortunate scene at Dorsey, but I did talk to both coaches and Dorsey coach Dart Stamps, who really was like, look, there's no excuse for what transpired. However, he did say that the official might have did some wrong things through the game that led to that. Again, no matter what he says, I don't know if you should ever see a player go after an official like that.
Just unfortunate. But let's get to more civilized basketball players. The ladies. Girls basketball. There's never any fighting with the girls. Ontario Christian is the team to beat in the open division in the southern section, and they flex their muscles against Jay Sarah. This Ontario Christian team is powerful. Yeah, I mean, it's really about Tati Griffin and Kalina Smith. I really don't, they certainly have other players that are just as good, or not just as good, but that fill a role very well. This is a team destined for more championships and more hardware, but there will be other teams in the way. How about Etiwanda over St. Joseph? Another game that wasn't a surprise. Etiwanda wins championships each and every year. Yeah, Stan DeLuce. This Etiwanda Eagles team is flying under the radar. I'll be honest with you, I couldn't really tell you their best player right now, and that may be because they're so under the radar. Everyone's talking about Sierra Canyon and Ontario Christian. Etiwanda could be the sneaky team that wins it all. Let's talk about Sierra Canyon. This was not an easy game for the Blazers in pool play. They get by Centennial, Corona Centennial, 59-54. Blazers had 4 players in double figures. Sidney Bryant, the star All-American player for Centennial, had 23 points. That's a nice victory, but it was 30-30 at half. Yeah, Sierra Canyon led by Josie Robinson. She's going to play at South Carolina for Dawn Staley, and then Amelia Kravitsky, big girl going to Oregon, really good. And then everyone's waiting. Maybe Hamaili Arenas gets eligible. So this Sierra Canyon team has a lot of firepower and is very, very much a threat to Ontario Christian. Team we never talk about is Sage Hill. They've won 21 straight games. They beat a good modern-day team. Holguin, their star, had 24 points and 7 rebounds, hit a slew of three-point jump shots. Sage Hill's obviously for real. Yeah, they are, and that modern-day team's pretty good. So for Sage Hill to get that victory tells you, like you're mentioning, that they're very good. And Holguin is she's one of the last Mambas. That's what everyone talks about. She played on Kobe's travel ball team with his daughter, Gigi. So she's a senior now and a very good player, and certainly knows how to score. LA City section already into their open division girls semifinals. It'll be Venice-Westchester. Westchester is the top-ranked team. That'll be at Pasadena on Saturday, Pasadena City College. The other game, and I think the really good game, because Westchester's the heavy favorite there, this game could be sensational. Andrea Antonio is that tremendous freshman point guard at Hamilton. Birmingham's the favorite, but Hamilton has a win over Westchester this year. Could be a pretty good game there, Tarek. Yeah, maybe. For the first time in a long time, we're not exactly sure who's going to come out of one of those semifinals. If we're being honest, in the city, boys and girls, we can usually peg which teams are going to make it to the final. And in that matchup, we're really not sure. Although I would give the edge to Birmingham. They're a better team, but the star players for Hamilton, so you never know in a situation like that. A couple coaches stepped down this week. One is Tom Hegre, who had been at Knight High School in Palmdale for 20 years. You know him because he coached Paul George there. Hegre's out after 20 seasons. Yeah, 500-plus wins, multiple league titles, I think 3 CIF appearances, 1 CIF championship. He's from Minnesota. He told me he's going back to Minnesota and wants to spend the time on the lake. I mean, this guy's really trying to just lay low after retirement. However, he did tell me he doesn't think his coaching days are over. So maybe when he goes back to his hometown and so on, maybe he starts coaching again. Aaron Reichenberg is out at La Habra. Reichenberg, 9 seasons, always with really good teams. Won a CIF championship a couple of years ago. Won 20-plus games again this year. After 9 seasons, he's out. Yeah, Asen Jimenez has been his top player the last few years, a point guard at La Habra. And so Reichenberg steps down. Good guy, well-respected. Maybe wants to – I don't think he's going to go coach. I think he's probably stepping away and going to go do something else. Baseball season has started. And it started with South Hills downing Covina and they won the game 6-1. But the storyline here is the game started at 12:30 a.m. to beat the rain, ended at 3:34. So with that in mind, for point counterpoint, our question, should high school sports even be allowed to start events after midnight? Tarek, you're up.
I think given, Midnight Madness, in my opinion, is more synonymous with basketball, because when the official first day of the season, you do a Midnight Madness and you do like an inter squad, friends and family come, you give food, and it's indoors, right? It's not as cold, so on and so forth. I think it's cool. I think the element of it, it's a good idea. Baseball, a little different. I know you'll have your things to say about what I think is dangerous about doing it, but overall, I do think the notion of it is different, fun, unique, and perfect for high school.
Get off my lawn. I'm old school here. We shouldn't have events after 12 o'clock. These are high school students. I'm concerned when a young man does anything after midnight. Starting a baseball game at 12:30, lasting till 3:30, coming home at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. You don't know what's going on the streets in any city. Having players and kids perform, why? Then you got the student body who are supposed to come out there and support them. How do you support a team when a game starts at 12:30 and lasts till nearly 4 o'clock in the morning? It's ridiculous. I don't like it, and it's not safe. Get off my lawn. That's my point. On point counterpoint. 12 o'clock?
I think the best point of your point was, like, kids then got to drive home at 4 in the morning. That is not safe. Adults driving home at 4 in the morning is not safe. You're tired. You don't know what's going on. To your point, I'm not even. Do you know what night was this? Like a Monday night?
Monday night.
Yeah. So it's a school night. I don't know. There's some things about that are unsafe. I'm surprised that the district let them do it. Like, wouldn't you be
surprising.
Wouldn't you be liable? God, something happened.
I was at a Shalhevet game earlier this year in basketball, and they started that at 12:15 at night for religious reasons. I really didn't like that. You're exhausted. You're watching a game.
They had a midnight game this year?
Yeah, and they're in their tournament earlier in the season. And I didn't get out of there until 2 o'clock, 2:15 in the morning.
And you're old.
Well, I'm older, and I didn't drive that well. The lucky point there, I got out, and there's nobody on the road. So even though I'm doing this, I'm not hitting anyone.
Yeah, exactly. You're what the students need to be worried about out there.
Yeah, I know. I shouldn't be on the road at 2:30 in the morning. All right, a lot of football stuff to discuss, too. Let's start with Lorenzo Hernandez, the longtime football coach at Garfield. He has not been the football coach for about a year now. Was the AD at Garfield. Suddenly he pops up, and he's hired this week to be the head football coach at Whittier High School.
Yeah, I think it's a good hire in regard to name recognition, someone that's done it a long time. He's going to coach kids. He's going to grow kids. They're going to get better. Whittier High School, to me, is not something where I think of like juggernaut football. So, I also think not a lot of expectation. Coach kids up, try and win a couple games, and ride off into the sunset until retirement. So, great hire.
Flintridge Prep has an 8-man football team. And Russell White, a great running back at Crespi, played at Cal, played for the Rams, nice NFL player, great running back, stepped down. He's looking to get an 11-man job. You would think a lot of schools would want Russell White.
Yeah, what cracks me up about Russell White, and I've spoken to him many times, because his son is going to San Diego State to play basketball. He's a standout basketball player for Notre Dame of Sherman Oaks. And you'd think Russell White would not, like, okay, I want to go watch my son play basketball as much as possible. Russell White's like, I don't care. I want to coach football. So to me, it's kind of funny. Like, he might not be around to watch his son all that much. I know Mom will get down to those games all the time. But I don't know where he'll land. But my guess is someone with a resume like that will find somewhere to coach.
St. John Bosco, the Braves, obviously one of the great powers in prep football in the country, not just the Southland. They've put out their schedule, and they're opening up the season at Bishop Gorman in Las Vegas, August 21st. Those are two of the great powerhouses. What a terrific opening game.
Yeah, I'm almost thinking, I've actually never been to Gorman. So just to kind of almost check off like a high school.
But you've been to Vegas.
Been to Vegas, but Gorman never been there, so I'm almost thinking Bosco. That's a top 5 preseason national game, and I know it sounds really ridiculous to say, oh, well, that could be a national championship indicator. Well, it could, because if those two teams have these great years, they might look back at who won that game and decide to crown a national championship just off that. There's the schedule there. So I'm actually thinking about going to that game. That's a great week 0. Now, it'll be so hot, so maybe I don't go. But anyway, I'll cross that bridge.
There you go, making excuses again.
Yeah.
Turnovers and missed
It'll be
foul
like 110 degrees.
By the way, that Pittsburgh team, California up north, they're good. And they're playing the Braves, 2 really good teams from Hawaii. One of them being St. Louis of Honolulu, who's really strong, and Kahuku. There again is the schedule. And that team from Pennsylvania is a state champion. So that preseason, then you got obviously the Trinity League. It's a brilliant schedule.
Yeah, it's probably one of the tougher schedules in the country. But again, Jason Negro, that dude looks for street fights, man. That guy's always trying to stick his nose in it, and I give him kudos for that. He's not scared to play anybody.
Last out on the football front, 2 high school level stars commit as transfers to Santa Margarita. Champs get richer. Moala, who's a big safety from Louisinger transfers over. And Alan Kennett V, a linebacker at Servite, goes to Santa Margarita. Carson Palmer's building quite the franchise.
Well, I think we all saw it coming, right? So Carson Palmer wins the CIF Division I championship, the state championship. And I mean, I wrote a column on it. I think the tide is turning. I mean, it's a new era, with Carson Palmer at the helm. And let's not forget, talking about Jason Negro, he's the longest tenured Trinity League coach. I think he's been there 17 or 18 years now. Okay, the next most tenured coach, take a guess. It's okay, we got time.
We have 3 minutes, and I might not be able to figure that out.
No, you're going to do it. Come on.
No. I got other subject matter.
My point is you want to get out of it because the answer is Raul Lara. He's only been there 2 years.
No way.
That's my point is the
Raul Lara is the second most tenured coach in the Trinity League?
Yeah, because the other 3 teams have new coaches.
You got 3 openings this year.
My point is that it's not just Carson Palmer and his winning ways. There's just a new era altogether in the Trinity League with these new coaches. Half the league has new coaches.
Well, we got the quarterfinals coming up in open basketball, and let's see. We got Santa Margarita at Sierra Canyon, Centennial at Notre Dame, Crespi at Harvard Westlake, so those rivals meet. And then there's La Mirada at Redondo. Anything stand out for you there?
I mean, the Sierra Canyon Santa Margarita game is big because they're the 1 and the 2 seed. So it's odd to see them in the quarterfinals. I think the CIF, as much as I love Jerry DeFabius, they might have messed up this format a little bit. They should have done pool play and then simply just whoever qualified reseed like the NFL does.
Pool play has knockout games. 2 teams that won't go to the state, and those games are Corona Del Mar, and they're going to play at St. John Bosco, and Etiwanda at Damien, which is a phenomenal rivalry. I think they split again this year. Now they're playing for an opportunity to keep their season alive and get in the state.
Yeah, and that to me is probably the most fun part of this format is you can earn your state playoff berth on the floor. There's no playing games, your pool play games, and then, what are the tiebreakers? Do we advance? Do we not? It's like you win, you advance. You lose, you go home. End of story.
I'm going to get this story in you thought I would never get in. It's not on the rundown. The Birmingham girls in water polo.
Oh my gosh.
I know you didn't want me to really do this.
No, it's.
I felt bad because your Birmingham boys basketball team lost. Okay, so the Birmingham girls in water polo knock off Granada Hills 18-9. It was Wednesday night. 2 in a row now in open water polo for the girls of this very fine Birmingham team, and 3 out of the last 4. They had 1 girl score 8 goals, another one scored 6 goals. The Patriots are #1 in girls water polo.
Shout out to AD Rick Presont. That's it. That's all I got.
He's a Hall of Famer. Where are you going this weekend?
Friday, I will be at Sierra Canyon Mater Dei, and then I potentially on Saturday night will try and find a girls basketball game to go to.
I'll be at Shalhevet on Saturday night for Shalhevet and Colony. For Tarek, I'm Randy. That's it. That's a wrap on SoCal.
We're going to try a little something different.
Report.
Randy, you're going to
stay dry, everybody.
You're going to catch this and toss it back to me.
Okay.
Now,
hey.
See the assist?
Hey.
See that teamwork?
I give you an assist. I make an assist.
Honestly,
next
I'm
week.
not going to lie. I was kind of surprised you caught it. Wasn't sure.
Well, I got good hands.
Wasn't sure, man.
Well, you didn't think.